Fine. Take a couple of minutes just to get myself set up. I want to find video so I can see your comments. Hope we're all doing well. Hope you're having a good evening. To be honest, can't even tell if I'm live at the moment. Let's have a look at, see if we can get some comments on. I can see a few of you there. I'm just trying to find live comments on iPad. Once I find them, we'll get underway. Let's see where I am. Just bear with me 2 minutes. Thanks for joining, Matt. So while we're waiting, we'll talk about a couple of issues that have cropped up recently. Probably one of the first things is general licences to talk about. So they all changed at the beginning of the year. We should all be familiar with what's going on now. Let's find these comments. Here we are. Found them. Be a bit better when I can see what everyone's talking about. There we go. Let's see who's in house tonight then. We got David, Andrew. Welcome to you all. Hi Dave, Nigel, Ian. Everyone's saying camera needs turning, so let's have a look. Let's have a gander. This is live, so you'll have to just bear with me. Might want it rotate. Let's spin it round. Let's get there. Can everyone hear me all right? There we go. Should be a bit better. I wonder why that won't rotate though. Yeah, Brian. Good to see you all here. Fire away, ask me a few questions. Let's start some topics. So I mentioned general licences. Obviously they changed in January. There's a lot of further restrictions alongside them now. As shooters, as hunters in UK, we should be familiar with all changes. I did produce a few cards recently off back BASC. They released obviously new guidance, some templates, and they were quite easy to follow. The old reasons why you can shoot and why you can't shoot, quarry that we target. I see Paul's in the house, Kieran, Stuart, good to see you all. Ivor's in as well, thanks for joining. My daughter's popped up as well, Tegan. Nice to see you all. So what we've all been doing, we've been out shooting this weekend. I've had a lazy one personally. Just fancied a rest. I've been quite active these last few weeks, and you'll notice on channel I've been releasing 1 or 2 videos per week. And cold weather come, cold snap, so I just thought I'd fancy a change and just sit back and relax this weekend. On lines of general licenses I just mentioned a bit ago. I released a video today that were off back. I saw like a press release from Natural England. They released a statement along lines that they'd like to see corvids and other quarry only targeted to protect red list and amber list species of birds in UK. Thankfully, it's definitely released general licences now and not Natural England. So that's not hard and fast, but it could be another target for us all. Could be further restrictions coming, I feel, probably next January when they update new licences again. It's a bit bizarre to me. It's a bit of a strange one because they're telling you you can protect bird species like hawfinch and turtle dove, but they're not getting any sort of protection or status to just your general birds that you see, robins, blue tips, whitetails, things like that. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you think further restrictions are coming. Let me catch up on a few comments. So thankfully we've got that rotation thing sorted out. Everyone's saying that sound seems pretty fine. Yep, all good. Buff from Buff's Airgun Pest Control. He's asking me what I'm up to next week. Like I said, I've had a lazy one this weekend. A bit of gruel at work this week. I don't know whereabouts you're based in country, but a storm come through and there were a lot of flooding or localised flooding and stuff in various parts of the country. And where I'm from, Sheffield, it were tipped to go into flood. We've got some major rivers that run through the city. And where I work, there's a river that runs directly through works, one of the major rivers in South Yorkshire, to be fair. So everyone with panic stations for that this week. It's took its toll, really, just doing preventative actions and monitoring things. So I had a bit of grueler, as you do sometimes, and I just fancied just putting my feet up this weekend and relaxing. So next weekend, definitely be out, weather permitted, of course. Only weather that really stops me is wind. Obviously, as an air gunner, wind affects how accurate it can be at times. I don't really like to shoot in probably anything above 15 mile an hour, minimum of 10. So next weekend, I'm thinking probably go and visit my squirrel feeder in Derbyshire that I've got. What about you, Buff? What are you up to next weekend? Andrew Claxton, sub 12, still remaining licence free in England. A few years ago, probably most of you are aware that they brought licensing out for airguns in Scotland. I'm sure I saw some other day a release saying that there'd been some sort of knockback on licensing in England, so I'm hoping that's correct, but I do see benefits of it as well. I consider you all like like-minded people, and we try and keep on the right side of the law. It's paramount that everyone does that, and there is a minority of people that are always going to get airgunning a bad name. You know, these lunatics that go into public parks or they shoot swans and things like that. It's ridiculous. As long as there weren't any further restrictions and license, it weren't such as like an FAC where you have to get a doctor's certificate and all that kind of stuff, then I can see a few benefits to it. Hopefully, we don't need to go down that path, but we'll see when time will tell, I suppose. But I've got no issues with applying for a licence if I need to. Just reading a comment from MK Chase. Are you aware of the government's review of firearms, etc.? The public are able to provide input and should consider doing so, as one of the considerations is increased security, etc., concerning sub 12. I think we're always going to come under further restrictions, and yeah, I am aware of that review. I don't think much changes up to now. It's just your standard precautions in terms of how we secure your firearms and stuff like that. I take extra precautions anyway because I've got 2 young children, so my rifles are locked away in a secure cabinet, and I'd not let anyone have free access to them anyway. We spend thousands of pounds on his equipment each year, or every few years when we update. So there's that side of things, and obviously you don't want them to fall into the wrong hands if you have criminal fraternity visit your house and things like that. Yeah, you can fill these reviews in, submit your information, your thoughts. I did that, I think it was sometime last year when Wild Justice and Wild Justice had their little bit of input with government and got all general licences suspended for a few months, I think it were. So yeah, I submitted some evidence then. If you're in a position to, I'd say do it, because the people that know about these issues and what's best for us is us as a community, the shooters in UK. Eon, COVID's are getting a free ride with the new GL. Some species are, particularly rooks and jackdaws. Magpies, I don't think much has changed. You can shoot them to protect songbirds and flora and fauna, as we always have been able to do. But I was talking to one of the subs earlier. He commented on my video that I released today about red list, and I see where it's coming from. You shouldn't just kill indiscriminately. There should be a reason. And I think these new general licenses are set up around that. They're saying to you, you can take preventive action. You can still go out and cull quarry and do your pest control work, but there's got to be a specific reason for it, and there should be anyway. I won't go out willy-nilly and just shoot any critter. I'm doing it for a reason, and I'm doing it for a conservation reason, and it's to protect all different species, crops and things like that. So there should be a legitimate reason, really. Stuart, have you tried them bird cradles out yet? You got for decoying? Yes, I have, mate. I adapted a couple other week. I think it was on my video where titled were First Visit to Bakewell Beast. We're targeting corvids. First session didn't go well. For some reason, I must have had 20 magpies, jackdaws, crows, all in area, sat on a roof directly above me. But for some reason, they won't commit. I don't know what that were. It's just one of them things that happens sometimes. But I went out 4 or 5 days later, I think it was over Christmas break, and it worked a treat. It sits bird up nice and proud, makes them look real and alive, and they're two committed, two magpies, and they were duly shot. Oliver Berry, hi mate, hope you're keeping good. Could you answer me this, pal? I'm going to order an air tank. What PSI is it has to be for the S5 10 XS, and roughly how many fills from the tank would I get? I think it's 3000 PSI, if I'm right. Yeah, 3000 PSI, or 300 bar tank. Fills is dependent on how far you let your rifle drop down. I've got mine out tonight. It's not out just for display, it's out because I've got a rat on my bird feeder at home that I take care of after this live feed. But in terms of mine, I filled it up, I filled my bottle up. Bear in mind it's 3000 PSI, 300 bar. I filled that up before first lockdown in March. I think it was sometime in February. I made sure I got to local dive centre, had it filled up. Then I had it filled up a couple of months ago again, but it was still topping up to 200 bar. So what I suggest now I do it is, if I go out shooting, you know it's like, unless you're going out to a range or you're going out plinking, having a bit of fun and letting a couple hundred shots down range. If I go out shooting, I might only have 10 or 20 shots, that's with zero checks, and depend on how much quarry decides to drop in. So I use 20 shots, let's say, on a session. I'll come back, I'll top it straight back up. Now if you're topping up, your tank will last you a long time. Like I say, I filled mine twice in the last 12 months, had it refilled, and it's still topping up to 200 bar now. So it'll last quite a long time if you use it in that way. But if you're shooting a lot, going out shooting 100 rats a session, then I think it's around about 13 or 14 full fills. But that's when from your rifle being empty back up to 200 bar. Andrew Clarkson, just touching on firearms review. Increased security as in trigger locks fitted when in storage. Yeah, I think that's been out a while now. I don't know if you've noticed, if you buy a new rifle, Most manufacturers will send you a trigger lock, trigger guard with your rifle now. And it doesn't hurt, to be fair. If you have got children in the house, obviously, as they get to a certain age, they get curious about things, and last thing you want is some sort of accident. So yeah, I'd advise trigger locks and storage in a cabinet of some form. I'd lock that as well. Same with the ammunition. Evening, Casper. Just seen you pop up, mate. Brian Lodge. Is there an agenda to outlaw our birthrights that we have had for thousands of years, shooting and fishing? There is some sort of agenda when it comes to shooting. I'm not so overly concerned about fishing. Catch and release. So I think that'll be fine. But in terms of shooting, we've seen over the last probably 10, 15 years, and particularly the last couple of years, there is an agenda, but it's an agenda from celebrity people like Chris Packham, or other celebrities jump on bandwagon like Ricky Gervais, Brian May from Queen, who's an hypocrite, by the way. He's anti-fox hunting, anti-pro shooting, but yet on his own land, he got professional pest controls in to cull a load of deer that were damaging his nice new lawns and his flower beds and stuff like that. So when he suits them, it's all right. Now these celebrities jump on board, and it's just a way of being in paper, it's just a way of being on news and raising the profile all the time. We do have to be careful. It is a birthright, and it shouldn't be took away from us. And so that sticks with me. I've mentioned this to people who were before. You probably all know someone called Steve Ranella from Meat Eater series. And he brought something to light, and he were having a bit of a debate with a vegan. And this vegan was saying that they were cruel and all this kind of stuff and barbaric for eating meat. And he just simply said to him that it was his way of life. He chose to be an hunter. That other person chose to be a vegan. But Steve said that he wouldn't criticise anybody for choosing a way of life, whereas it just seems like other way around. They'll criticise us all the time and they want to impose their views on us. I think we should just be allowed to get on with what we do and just let other people live their lives as well. You know, I'm not concerned about how other people live their life as long as they live it in a normal manner, let's say. So yeah, that's that really. I don't think this is going to go away, this agenda. We have to be careful, but as meat eaters, we've been around thousands and thousands of years. It's how we evolved from cavemen. We started eating meat, we started hunting, we started fishing. That meat content, proteins, fats, helps us brain develop, and we become who we are now. Whereas like veganism and all these new views on certain things, and it's not just shooting, it's throughout the whole genre life really. It's all relatively new. You know, veganism and stuff like that has been around probably 50 years. So I don't think it'll ever go away. I don't think they can take that away from you. But they will restrict us, and we just have to learn to live with it, I'm afraid, and just comply to things. Let's have a look. James Lewis, how we doing, mate? Good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you for a while. Right, with Oaks on Saturday. Now, the good friends of mine is quite a little team room. My Yorkshire Oaks. If you want to see Harris Oaks hunting and things like that, check out the channel on YouTube. I last started here a couple of weeks ago, James. Visited Docklow, mate. Obviously, you know that permission well. And yeah, good little session, mate. But I haven't been out for a few weeks because of weather, really. Obviously, there's been snow on ground. I don't have a 4x4, so I don't want to go out into the middle of Derbyshire and get myself stuck. George, how are we doing, mate? Another Orca. Watch George Hawking on YouTube. He's got some lovely birds, Goss Oaks, Harris Oaks, that kind of thing. Chelsea Bewins, Teddy's daughter, I believe. How are we doing? Evening. Lee, why do you prefer 8.44 grain instead of the 10.34 grain pellet and 177 caliber? I don't actually. I have got some 10.34 grain tins of pellets. I'm just using the last of the 8.44s now. A few months ago, my rifle went off to Phil at Ratworks and he tuned my rifle for me. When it comes back, you get a test certificate, and it'll tell you what the preferred pellet is for your rifle. And he said to me, JSV Exacts 8.44 grain. They were getting best results at his workshop, so I used them. But I do prefer the heavier pellet. When I had the BSAR 10, I shot Day State FTs 10 point, 2.4 grain, I think they were, or 3.4 grain, I can't remember. But I do prefer the heavier pellet. It's not about stopping power really, they just seem to shoot really well. So yeah, I will be switching over to them shortly. I would say in probably another couple of weeks. Do a bit of testing first. But my sporter's not pellet fussy, so I've got no qualms really about them being accurate and suitable to my rifle. So watch this space, and I will be swapping over shortly. David Vermin Control, evening mate, nice to see you on board. Both you're out on rats and squirrels. Hope you get that scope back soon, mate, and get out there again. My lad's on. Hi, Dad. Hi, mate. How we doing? Dave. Hi, mate. Casper, when are you going to do something with the laddo again, mate? He's asking me all the time. I do want to take him out, but with time of year and weather and it being really cold and him only being young, he will suffer a little bit because, as you know, when it's cold and freezing out there, you sat prone for 4 or 5 hours in an hide or in a bush somewhere, it can get better here. So I'm a bit conscious of that at the minute. And I think when youngsters are starting in sport, it's like fishing as well. When young ones are starting in sport, you need to set them up in the right way. You need to take them out. They need to catch a few fish, generate that buzz and that interest in sport. And it's the same with shooting. I want him to go out there for now and just enjoy himself. And then when he's really into it, he'll stick it out no matter what, whatever the weather. So I'm just holding off a little bit with him. I was speaking to him earlier, to my lad Cohen, and I said to him, we're going to do a bit of night vision shooting tomorrow night. Only out garden at home. I'll set him up with my rifle, and I'll let him do some night shooting and see what sort of difference it is at night, just for a little bit of experience, really. Wolverine vermin shooting. Evening, Gary. Nice to see you on board, mate. You don't shoot just for the shooting's sake, apart from rats. Rats need controlling no matter what, and species like that aren't going to come on any restrictions because it's public health issues. So your rats, your feral pigeons, rabbits, squirrels, whether they tighten restrictions up on other species, I think we'll always be able to shoot them. So, yeah, I agree with that. Don't shoot for the sake of it. Walt Disney, evening, mate. Nice to see you. Let's have a look. Woodsman 243. Well done, Lee. Enjoying watching our channel grow. It's growing slowly. I think we talk about restrictions a lot, and I think shooting community on YouTube and biggest platforms now, I think we're restricted on there as well. It doesn't help because you are trying to get out to a bigger audience as you can. If you remember back a few years ago, everyone was going nuts because they demonetised videos and things like that. And it were mainly big channels that were affected, like Air Arms Hunting South Africa, Matt Dubber, you'd all be familiar with him. And that at the time was his only way of making money, it was his full-time job. So I understand where they were coming from, but from that point on, it seems to become really, really difficult on YouTube to grow your channels. But I'm happy where I'm at. I'm approaching 6k subs, and when I talk to people, it's not all about hitting that magical 100,000 subs and earning a lot of money out of YouTube. I don't do it for that reason. I talked to Dave, who's on tonight from Prepping Essentials, the prepping channel. If you want to check him out and have a look, I talk to him regular about it, and it is difficult. But the reasons I do it is I do it for memories, really, and I'm leaving a bit of a legacy behind for my kids. You're obviously aware that Cohen's into shooting. My daughter's even asking me now, when can I come with you? When can I come with you? As they do. So in years to come, I'll be able to sit back, when I can't get up and I can't go walking through fields or up hills and stuff anymore. I'll sit back and hopefully if YouTube's still around, I'll be able to flick YouTube on and I'll be able to reminisce and watch my videos and think, oh yeah, that's what I did. It's just about creating memories and sharing them memories. And it's the same for my children, you know, if they do want to take up our sport and they want to be serious about it, I'm trying to put a bit of content out there that sets them up in the right way. And that's the same for viewers, for people on YouTube that I make videos for. I'm just trying to put a little bit of education out there, the way I do it, a few tips and knowledge, pass it on. Hopefully people pick up on that and they do things in the right way, and then the right message keeps getting passed down the line. And eventually we're in a good place as a shooting community. Johnny, air rifle pest control, you had a shave especially for us. I did actually, mate, yeah. Thanks for picking up on that. No, to be honest with you, obviously it's a school night tonight. I've got work in morning, so always have a shave. But try to look nice and fresh for work as you do. Evening, Sam, Brian, Pete Harris, how we doing, mate? Good to see you on board. Eon, Hawking is fantastic. Yeah, it is, mate, and I'm privileged to, like I said, be good friends with my Yorkshire Oaks team. We share some permissions now at Derbyshire. And it was them lads that sort of got my foot in door out there. I've got a good few thousand acres alongside them. I keep saying that I'm going to bump into them and, you know, just spend a few hours with them. And I'm going to do a bit of collaboration and get a different perspective for them. I'm going to just follow them around for a few hours, film them, and then upload something to my channel as well. We're shooting same ground now. I think sooner or later we're going to bump into each other and I'll be able to pull that off and provide a different sort of video for viewers. Malk 1730. Hi Lee. As for licensing, it took me 6 months to renew my FAC. God knows what would happen if licensing for air guns were brought in. Yeah, that was a big problem at the time. In Scotland, obviously, a massive backlog, and yeah, FACs. I've touched on this before, but I have got an interest in getting an FAC license and going up a few calibers. I've always had this thing where I wanted to go deer stalking and stuff, but it is literally the time that it takes to come back. I think in South Yorkshire, you're looking at a minimum of about 6 months currently. And you can imagine how many air gunners there is in the UK, probably 5-6 million. Imagine all them people applying for a licence at the same time. We saw something similar last year when Natural England and Wild Justice got involved with fiasco with general licences. You had to apply for an individual licence to be able to go to different places and shoot, and that just collapsed the whole system. So yeah, I agree, mate, it'd be an absolute nightmare. If they were going to do it, they'd have to phase it in, and they'd have to probably do it over like a 5-year period and just give everybody a chance to slowly apply, and maybe it'd get through that way a little bit easier. Dave from Northwest Vermin Control is a bit late on board tonight, just finished work, but nice to see you, mate. Thanks for joining in. Another channel that I've had quite a bit to do with recently. Me and Dave talk to each other through WhatsApp, Facebook and that kind of thing. And we are planning on doing a bit of shoot together once this COVID pandemic finishes and we've got a bit of free movement and a bit of normality back. Check his channel out, Northwest Vermin Control. Really good channel. He's making some really good videos, and he could do with some support. I know a lot of you did support him when I put something up on my community tab, asking for you to sub to his channel and stuff. So yeah, check him out if you like what you see. Like, share, subscribe, usual format really. Got someone from America here, CC Love. Think he joined in, didn't realise it was an hunting channel. Obviously I put live chat from the Hunters Lodge, and if it looks right, he's looking at making a cabin in USA, Vermont somewhere. Thought that was subject. Stick around, mate. If you want to see a cabin build, check out Prepping Essentials on YouTube and see what he's been doing. Monk Chip, nice to see you, mate. Really good YouTuber, makes some really good writing videos. Recently he's been doing squirrel videos as well. But check him out, I'm sure you're all familiar with him anyhow. The wildlife footage in your red and amber list vid is fantastic, Lee. Thanks, mate. Brian Lodge, with all the new tech, what is your opinion with regards to digital scopes? Well, you're aware that I'm currently using ATM 4K Pro 3x14. I've had it around about 8-9 months now, I think. It's been fine. I think key to them is, I think what happens is you need to read the instructions. There's plenty of tutorials and stuff on YouTube. Watch these videos, read instructions, and set them up as the manufacturer says. It's best advice I can give anybody. I followed it step by step, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever. I think what happens is a lot of people think it's just like a standard scope. So you make your purchase, your scope comes a week later, they whack it on the rifle, and they just expect it to work, and it don't work like that. Technology is advancing, and you have to advance with it as well and play your part, learn about it, learn setups, learn what all different features are. I use mine quite basic. I don't use ballistic calculator in it. It's just simply day-night mode. I swap about with my reticles if I want to and stuff like that. And if you use it like a basic scope in a way, but use its features, its record features, all that kind of stuff, you'll feel benefit of that. Personally, I love it. I think it's the way forward. And I know thermal scopes now. ATN are coming out with thermal scopes. Other manufacturers are. ATN come out with a front end add-on. Well, they haven't come out yet, but they released a little video a few days ago, and that looks absolutely fantastic. But it's price tag as well. You have to save up for these things, and they don't come cheap. But the advances make life a lot easier for us, and particularly like ATM 4K for me. Before when I was shooting, I was using a Sony Handycam. I'm using I'm using a GoPro mount, put it on top of my scope. And you're having to line camera up, then you're having to line your rifle up, make sure everything's in focus, all that kind of stuff. We're somewhat digital like an ATM 4K or other brands that are like your Sightmark Wrath and Pards and stuff like that. It's just simple, it's just on point, you're recording anyhow and you capture your footage. So yeah, I think they're a brilliant advancement, to be fair. Yeah, that's a lot. Ross, Richard, alright mate, how's it going? Thinking about getting a Springer to go with my PCP. Thoughts on HW95 177 caliber? You can't fault HW rifles. You got your 95, you got 97, 77. Fantastic German quality, German engineering. Yeah, I'd go for it, Ross, to be fair mate. I don't think you'll go wrong. My choice, if I'm going for a wine ratch, would be 97k. And I've said previously that I had one when I was like a teenager. I absolutely love that rifle, to be fair. Dave from Northwest Vermin Control. Lee, have you had any problems with the ATN? I bought one, it was a nightmare. No, I haven't had any problems. Like I said, just do it set up correctly. But I liken anything you buy to anything else really. So you can go to a car dealership, see a car that's in pristine condition, buy it and have endless problems. Or you buy one and it's fine. So you can buy good and bad. I won't let one bad experience put you off trying them again. Phil Glover, regular subscriber to my channel, always commenting. Nice to see you on board, mate. He uses a Air Arms S400, great gun. Yeah, they are. Air Arms, just same as Wine Ratch and a lot of other manufacturers really, they took everything to the next step, and most rifles are faultless these days. It's us at shooters that let them down, to be fair. Brian, similar question to what you asked me. What's your opinion on digital scopes and the cost involved compared to your standard scope and the features? I've obviously mentioned advancements with digital scopes and stuff like that. Yes, there is a cost involved, and I don't know, for that £900 to £1,000 for ATN scope. Scope I was using before were MTC Viper Pro. Obviously I've still got that as a backup, but that were £450. So yeah, thing is, you buy a rifle and you need to spend half again on your scope. You can't have a good rifle and a cheap scope really. You can if you're just starting out, but if you're doing pest control work, everything deserves like a humane dispatch. So you need the top end equipment really to take things serious and do your work correctly. One thing I will say is ATN, they've released it in America at the minute. It's the LTV series, which is basically 4K Pro scope, but scaled down, so you haven't got as many features. That's retailing at half price, so I think it's about $500 in America at the minute. They haven't been released here yet, and I think that's probably due to shipping and COVID and stuff. But I can imagine that's going to be a better scope than your regular 4K Pro. I reckon if they strip a lot of features out that can give people issues, I reckon you're going to get a bargain really at half price. So I'd look out for them, and if you were thinking of investing, I'd probably invest in one of them. Woodsman 243, as long as we all keep things professional within current laws, most of our shooting is forestry protection. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Everything's got to be done professionally, and yeah, within guidelines of current laws and framework of them laws. Andrew Claxton, would anyone know if Mr. Dave Ratz is okay? Not made a vid for over a year. He actually commented on my last video. I released a main video about a week ago, then I released like a short clip a few days ago. He actually commented on there saying, how you doing, sort of thing. I'll be back soon, so that's good news. I'm a bit concerned myself, because I was friends with him on social media, and he drops off social media as well, so it was difficult to try and get hold of him, see if he was alright and stuff. But yeah, it seems like he is, which is brilliant news. And even better news if he says he's coming back soon, so keep watching out for his video updates on his channel. Kyle Ferguson, any tips for a Springer shooter? I ain't shot a Springer for a long time. I started off on Springers, just like most shooters. It's all about holds really. Obviously not as forgiving as PCPs. You can't rest like your buddy bottle, or obviously you can't rest your silencers or anything, even with PCP, but it's all about shooting them. They will recoil a little bit more than obviously a PCP. So you need to practice your holds, learn to shoot them, and then you'll be fine, mate. They're still more than capable of doing a good job. Andrew Clarkson estimated 4 million air guns in England and Wales. Yeah, online what I said earlier, there's probably 5 or 6 million shooters in UK. So yeah, I'd agree with them figures, mate. Cohen again. My kids keep commenting. Hello Cohen, hello Tegan. They've asked for a shout out during this video. Pontypool Pest Control. Evening, mate. Good to see you here. Don't worry about being late. You're probably out shooting or something like that. Another good guy making excellent videos on YouTube. So please check his channel out. I'm sure you all know who he is, because obviously I watch different YouTubers, and when I flick through the comments section, we see the same names, so we're following each other really. We've got a really good community going. Dome World, hi mate, how we doing? Hi Lee, looks like you've got Mancave sorted. Yeah, I have really. A few little bits I want to just update a bit and stuff, and I've just come through Christmas and it was a bit of a mess, to be honest with you. I've done a lot of storage in here, like old boxes and stuff like that, and Christmas decorations. So it's nice to finally get them out of the way again. It's a lovely little place, to be honest with you. It's my little escape. So I can come in here, you'll have seen me in different videos preparing to go shooting. I keep my clothing in here. So it's simple. That could be a bit of a pain. You go shooting, come home, you're mucked up. There's none of that going into the house or getting stripped off outside the house while you're walking with mucky wellies or boots and things. So everything's done in here like that. Old mess is kept in here. Prepare all my quarry and my game in here, ready for table, and that pleases my wife as well, Chelsea. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, let's have a look. Ian Westman, recently hooked up with Ian on Facebook. He's come from a different Facebook shooting group, and he's come over to my channel, and looks like a really capable hunter. Quite regular art hunting as well. He's asking me, what would you think about if they brought in licensing? Would that then allow us to go for FAC? I would imagine you can go for FAC anyway. It's just you just apply for a licence basically through your local police force. Like I say, it takes a while, but you go through your doctor's checks, background checks, all that kind of stuff in your own visit. So there won't be an issue going for it anyway, but I would imagine it's going to be something along the lines of FAC. It might be first step, and then obviously you can progress up through and get a further ticket. David Birmingham Control, the sheriff's in town. He is. Pontypool Pest Control. Chelsea Buick, Teddy's daughter again. Hi mate, how many rifles do you have now and what are they, plus what are the calibers? Well, I had, at one point I had Air Arms and I had R10. I've got a P15 as well. R10 I sold that. Reason being, I just never picked it up. Since I got Sporter, I just went to that rifle continuously, and it weren't getting used, so I passed it on to someone that were going to use it and get some good worth out of it, really. Pontypool Pest Control, nice to see the shooting community having a get together. It is, and we have got a good community, and YouTube, Facebook, and all of the social media sites. It's great for hooking up with people, and there'll be a few of you on tonight. You've contacted me via email, and then we've swapped phone numbers, and or you've jumped on board onto me COVID Hunter group on Facebook. And yeah, we've got a really good community. I've met up with a few people over the years. I've got some really good friends in shooting community now that I've had pleasure of shooting with, and I talk to day in, day out, really, to be fair. Nigel Pass, a bit of advice he's passing on here about update the 4K Pro, if not the latest version when you get it, then leave alone. Happy with what I have once updated the first time, faultless with the ABLO, so that seems to be quite a theme, to be honest with you, with ATNs. Yep, I updated firmware as soon as I got it. I haven't updated it since. I was a bit concerned about it. I thinking, do you have to update? But you don't have to. If you've got something that's fake, it's working, it's not broken, there's no reason to update unless you want a new reticle and things like that. But that's where you can get some issues. So I've updated once and I've just kept it in and it's been fine. Wolverine vermin shooting, Gary again. When you record your own shooting, you can certainly improve your shooting because you can see what you're doing wrong. You can, and you can explain some misses sometimes. With recording capabilities and editing software, you can slow things down and you can see if a pellet's wobbled, or you can see where you've missed movement and things like that. So yeah, it is a really good way of improving your shooting. We've all had them when I explain misses, where you've been out in field and your crosshairs are dead sensey, you squeeze trigger and it's a complete miss. But yeah, if you are recording, you can have a look back and you'll notice something that's at fault. Steve W34, glad all the YouTubers are supporting each other. Leah's giving different perspectives on shooting with tips he gives and wildlife knowledge. It's what I mentioned before. I am trying to just pass on that little bit of knowledge. Whether people take it on board, that's entirely up to them. Every day is a school day, as they say, and I learn new things every day from different people, new tips, new knowledge, and I do like to pass it on. I think that's what it's all about, really. Pass on what you learn. Knowledge isn't power. You shouldn't keep things like that to yourself. You should pass things on and set other people up the same way that you have. Scott, evening guys, one question. How do I get the missus on board with me shooting live quad instead of just paper targets? That all comes down to personal choice, mate. I don't think my wife could shoot live quad either. It's a difficult one. Like I said, there's got to be a justifiable reason for shooting live quarry. And it's not something to be took lightly either. At the end of the day, you are taking an animal's life. I think I mentioned this in a previous video where there is always a little bit of sadness involved when you take something's life. But the way you justify it is that you're doing it to conserve crops or other animals. James Lewis, I'm good, mate. Just catching up with him from my Yorkshire Oats. Gives a buzz one day this week. Yep, will do, mate, not a problem. I know you've been busy with new little fella in your life. So hope your son's doing well. Hope he's filling out and growing. And I'll give you a buzz this week, mate. No problem. Robert Howe, evening, mate. Saying hello to everybody. Salaganders. Buff's airgun pest control. Lee, have you got a dream airgun, or when the time comes, what will be your next gun? One that's catching my eye, well, there's two that's catching my eye at a minute, to be honest with you. Got Day State Red Wolf. I think that's a fantastic rival. Matt Manning's using it currently off Airgun channel on YouTube. It's really good. What I like about it, I like a rifle. I like the aesthetics of it as well, so I want it to look nice. That does. Obviously, it's got electronic trigger, and its shot count really does it for me. You've got between 400 and 500 shots per charge. That'd be nice. And there's Headgun Leashy 2 as well. I'm really struck on that rifle. But we're being pretty tall, pretty big frame. Your little bullpup rifles don't seem to suit me. But you can adapt them and you can make them longer. You can do different stuff to them. So there's them two rifles that I do like. At the minute, I've got no plans to upgrade. Obviously, I had Sporter Ratworks tune, so it's absolutely fantastic, and it's doing a job every time I take it out. But if the time does come, maybe in another year or two, then yeah, Day State Red Wolf, I think that'd be a rifle that I'd go to. Dream rifle, I can't say it's a dream rifle, but it's probably the next one on the list. And then you've got your Stayer Hunter. That's a beautiful rifle as well. So any of them really. It's nice to see people chatting amongst each other in comments section. Dave from Prepping Essentials, thanks for the shout out. Like I say, if you're into prepping or homesteading, that kind of thing, check his channel out. There'll be some content on there that you'll like. Steve W34. Lee, do we have something on the missus? As you have a lovely shooting man cave, your own freezers, etc. It's my little escape, mate. I've set it up that way just in case. You know what it's like when you're married. You don't always see eye to eye, so I could just nip out of the way, get out of the way for half an hour, and then we're back to normal. Ross Ritchie, what's your favourite quarry to go after pest-wise? He likes pitting his wits against the crows. Yeah, corvids, mate. Crows and magpies, really. I do love ratting as well. You can't beat ratting. It's continuous sport through night, and it's fantastic. But crows and magpies, or any corvid really, because they're so clever. You know, a crow, they reckon it's as clever as a 5-year-old kid. My daughter's 7. I remember what they were like, and my son's a bit older now, but I remember what they were like when they were both 5, and they're so switched on. You can have some really intelligent conversations with them. So if a crow or a magpie, for that fact, is as clever as a 5-year-old kid, it takes some outwitting, and I love that challenge. So yeah, I'm with you on that, mate. It's corvids all the way. Kyle Ferguson, I've got to ask where you are from. You're even more northern than Mick McCarthy. I think we're from the same neck of woods, me and Mick McCarthy. We're both Yorkshiremen, so I'm from South Yorkshire, Sheffield to be precise. I think Mick's from, I think he's West Yorkshire. So very similar parts of the country, mate. I've got an accent, but I'm proud of my accent. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of my roots, so you just have to put up with it, I'm afraid, mate. Was it UK01P, another regular commenter and follower of my channel. I'm a water bailiff for 2 lakes. What's your views on cormorants and mink? They both need controlling. Now, I know cormorants, you can only shoot them under licence, and numbers are restricted as well. So, I don't know, if you've got 20 cormorants on a pond, they'll allow you to shoot probably 3 or 4. And now, them figures aren't accurate, but I'm just saying as a matter of perspective. Mink, they are fair game, and if you've got them on a permission, they're covered under general licence, and you can shoot them. So fill your boots. They are an invasive species, and having a massive negative effect on our waterways and all animal species and populations that live alongside them river inlets and stuff. they're really decimating them. So yeah, if you can take them out, then by all means do so. Beyond, cormorants are protected, but mink can be shot or trapped. Cormorants are protected, but under the licensing, you can shoot some. But like I say, it'd be really difficult to get authorised and get a licence for that, and numbers would be restricted as well. Bit bizarre, because if you get 20 cormorants on a pond, it won't take them too many months to decimate fish stocks. Lee Hillier, hi, evening mate. How far do you travel to your permissions? How long travelling is it? I've got quite a few permissions. I'm in a lucky position these days. Weren't always like that. I've struggled like everybody else, and then eventually, once you get your foot in the door, you get 2 or 3 permissions, and further ones follow. So, how far do you travel? The closest one's 10 minutes away. So from 10 minutes to 45 minutes really, and I don't know, I might have got 7 or 8 different permissions. So yeah, 10 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm happy with that. One of the main farms that shoots half an hour away, which is ideal really. It's pretty local. Steve W34, as the UK has left the EU, it makes life here a little misery trying to get stuff. Example, pellets. Just got a few bits before you left. Wanted to go get other bits, but expensive now. I don't think we're going to see too much of a price hike with coming out of EU. I think long term it's for best for UK that we're not in EU. European bloc, all these other countries that are still in Europe, they're all suffering. They're in massive debt, which UK is currently because of COVID pandemic. But I think eventually we'll come out of it stronger, and it's good to be independent again. Get our own laws back. We're not going to be governed by European laws, even though we've took most of them on as a standard practice, guidance to follow. But that might be better for conservation. We'll have to wait and see on that, because I know Europe used to provide a lot of grants to farmers and landowners for like set aside areas and crop protection and wildlife protection, but I think we'll do that as a country anyhow, so we'll have to wait and see. But I don't expect prices to go up too much, because we'll just put tariffs on stuff that we export, and then it'll bring prices back down. Stuart Bergen, Lee, what mag do you use in your 4K Pro? On most outings, I would imagine that's going to be 3 times. I was similar with even a standard scope, so a standard scope like my NTC Viper, I had it on ×6 all the time. I never muck about with it really. I'll only play about with side parallax or focus just to get a nice crisp picture, but that's on ×3. I restrict my shooting though. You know, I'm not going to be shooting beyond 40 yards, maybe 50, depending on what quality it is and conditions, weather conditions. So ×3, mate, one of the lowest magnifications you can have, I believe. Terry's daughter again. I'm sure I've seen you eat a magpie before. That's something I never tried. Was it similar to wood pigeon? It were really. I suppose a bird breast meat is just breast meat. It was similar to a wood pigeon, but more similar inside to collared dove breast meats when we were allowed to shoot and eat them. It weren't bad. I only did it for just to try it, say I've done it. It's not something I'd do again. I seasoned it, I well marinated it, so it weren't too bad really, to be honest with you. I got them flavours more than magpie flavour coming through, if that makes sense. Buff's had a go at Red Wolf. Eon's saying that Leashy 2 looks really good. Yeah, they're both really cracking rifles. Matthew Shaw, thanks for your help and information on our chat yesterday. Matthew's another subscriber. I got him to email me, and we've swapped numbers, and I had a phone call with him yesterday. Wanted a little bit of advice regarding feral pigeons and a new permission he picked up, so we had a good chat. Yeah, nice talking to you, Matt. Like I said to you last night, feel free to message me and get in touch, and we can swap a few stories about what both of us are up to, and if you ever need any advice and I can answer it, I will do, mate. That's not a problem. Nigel Pass, good old Steel City. Yeah, it is, mate. It's the city of steel. Ross Ritchie, following on from that, Wednesday or United. So, stiffening up a little bit. So, I'm a Wednesday fan. I've been since I was a kid. For my sins, we're not doing too well at the moment, but you know, you stick to people, don't you, through thin and thin. My wife's just commented, we're all Wednesday, aren't we? Here we are, in this house we are anyway. UK01P, I thought I knew that accent in the 70s and 80s. I was dragged up in Attercliffe Common. Yep, Attercliffe's not far from me. Lower Don Valley, it's where all steelworks were once in there. So yeah, you bang on money there, mate. I'm not far away from you. Kyle Ferguson, love the accent. I'm from the Midlands, so I sound like Noddy Older. Cheers for the vids. I really enjoy the output. Yeah, Brummie accent or Midlands accent always makes me chuckle, mate. I don't know where you get that high pitchedness from, but it's a brilliant accent. I love accents, to be fair. I love all accents. I think it makes us unique, even though we're from the same country. It's nice to have that little twist and that little regional variation. Nigel Pass. About time we could shoot some bloody gulls. It is, to be fair, and there should be different rules around them. We've all been to coast for day and come down and nick us chips and fish and harasses, and they mess everywhere, and they're a massive problem. What I'd like to see in regards to gulls is, I'd like anything inland, let's say 20 miles inland at coast, I think they should be fair game. Obviously, apart from your species of gull that are obviously under threat or something like that. But yeah, definitely it's inland on tips, refuse tips and things like that. And you see them in every town centre now, or even around where you live in your local area. There's gulls on playing fields and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely. Whether that'll happen or not, we'll have to wait and see, but I doubt it very much. Wolverine vermi shoeing. People say ATN and pods etc. are expensive, but if you work out what you spend on a scope and a separate night vision, it works out about the same. It does really, to be fair, mate. Like I said, a decent scope's going to set you back 450 quid. Then you buy an add-on for 200 or 300 quid. You're up into 800 quid mark already, and for an extra £100, you can get a par 008. I think pards are absolutely fantastic. 007 and 008, and particularly 008. Picture quality that you get for recorded footage is absolutely out of this world. The only thing for me is I don't like how we sit on your rifle. I couldn't get along with that. I have played about with Wayne Benson's pard. I went shooting with him. They let me use his S200 rifle with pard on top, and I thought it was brilliant. It were, but it won't work for me personally. But that's, like I say, it's individual choice, but they are fantastic pieces of kit. Northwest Vermi Control, Dave again. That's the only one that seems to get the better of me, the jackdaw. Even if I get there before light, they always seem to know you're there. Everything else, no problem. The jackdaw, no any tips. Get there early, you know, in total darkness really. If you could bring a jackdaw from another area with you and set it up as a decoy, you're going to get some investigation by resident population. If they don't fall for your planning, your bait, they're going to mob that stranger of a jackdaw, and it might give you a few opportunities, mate. UK01P, thanks for your views on the minks, cormorants. So it seems that I can shoot to scare, reading between the lines, but off my sights off accidentally. I wouldn't advise it, mate. I just I try other methods, scarecrows, bangers, just walking your fisheries, you know, to scare them off constantly, and apply for a license. You might be surprised, you might be able to knock a few in head if you get granted a license, and if you do, just that tactic of actually culling a few might scare a few others off as well. Wash Wildfowler Field Sports. Have you ever considered shotgun shooting, Lee? I have, as well as FAC, like I mentioned before. I'd love to have a bash at it. It's something I've never done. Would it be a form of hunting for me? I wouldn't mind doing wildfowling, you know, ducks, geese, that sort of thing on for sure. I'd love that. It's just that scenery, that place, it'd be so remote and so going back to what we used to do. Yeah, I would like to try that, but I do prefer rifles, one shot, one kill, that kind of mentality. That's my thing. Got a strange request here. Please can you say my name? But it's a mouthful, so it's Abdel 2103 Nasir. So I've said it. There you go, mate. Ivan Westerman, he's been in UK, well, he's been in England 15 years now, and people still struggle with his Irish accent. I love Irish accent, mate. It's brilliant. Cracks me up all the time. Ross Ritchie, is there one place you'd really like to shoot in the UK and what quarry? Yeah, I'd like to go deer stalking, Scotland or somewhere like that. Definitely deer. It's something that's always been with me, and eventually I will get round to doing it. My permission's out Derbyshire. I have got deer rights out there, so eventually I'm going to have to do it and get myself out there. Monk Chip, solely you can't be far from South Yorkshire Shooting Supplies, Rimfire and Magic. I'm not familiar with that shop, but no, I'll check that out. I can't be too far away if it's South Yorkshire, mate, but South Yorkshire covers Doncaster, Rotherham, Sheffield and Barnsley, so it could be in any one of them towns as far as I know. So UK01P, the problem he has with Par 008 is magnification. There's nothing between 6.5 and 13. If it went up in steps, it would be a far better unit. That's something I struggled with. It's sort of basic 6.5 magnification, so everything seems really close to you. I do like low magnifications. I suppose my eyesight must be capable of achieving that with low magnifications, but as I get older, I might have to start whacking that zoom up a little bit. Just have a quick flick through other comments. Wash Wildfowler, Field Sports. Give me a shout, mate. Wildfowling is my love. Glad to take you out. I'd love to take you up on that offer, mate. You can contact me on here. If you go through my community tab, there's a few posts that I put on there. There's an email address on there for me. So if you check that out, or drop me a comment somewhere and we'll get in touch somehow and we can have a bit of a chat. I'd love to, mate. That's it'd be an absolute pleasure. Thanks for the offer. Steve, he's got to go. Catch up later. Great videos. Thank you. Hope to see you another time. Yep, likewise, mate. I'll be getting off in a few minutes anyway. I've got work in the morning, so I'll be wrapping this up in a couple of minutes. But thanks for joining us. Brian Ludge, when are you writing your wild food recipe book? Some of your cooking looks great, squirrel and chips. I have started writing a book, but it's just having available time. I've started it and not gone back to it for a few months, but I want to write a book, cover a lot of subjects, obviously hunting, kit, and then there's going to be a cooking section in there as well. I just need to find the time. Obviously I'm married, I've got 2 kids, I work full time, and then when I do get a bit of time, I'm out shooting, so I'm keeping up with pest control duties. But eventually I will do it. I could do with something where I could do it on move. So I could just keep doing little bits here and there and then going back to it. But I will get through it and I will do it, and might take me a year or 2, but eventually I will get there. Right guys, I think I've got to end at comments. Let me just skip down to the front, see if I missed anything at the beginning when I'm mucking about with rotation at screen and stuff. No, I don't think I've missed much. Brian Lodge, at the beginning of comments. You're standing on your head, me old. Yeah. Crazy. Right guys, I think I'm going to wrap that up. I'm going to get in because I've got a couple of cold beers with my name on them in the fridge that my wife bought me Chelsea. So I'm going to slope them down there, get myself to bed and get up for work. Let's have a look. I've got Abdul asking me to say his name again, and I think he must like me or something, but I've said it once. I'm not giving you 2 opportunities. Paul, hi mate. He's going to look at a new perm with his son tomorrow near Ebden Bridge. Yeah, I spoke to him I think it was either midweek last week or last weekend, Paul. Nice chatting with you as always, mate. Yeah, go and have a look. Sounds promising from what we talked about on phone. Once you've been and had a look, give us a ring, mate. Let me know how you got on and let me know a little bit more about it. Sounds really good for you. particularly being pretty local as well. Cheers, Ian. Thanks for joining, mate, and have a good evening, pal. See you later, Dave. Dave's on his way out. Quick one from 01P. Do you rotate around your perms, or do you have a favourite one? I have to rotate, to be honest with you. Like I say, I probably only get out once a week, and if I'm off work, I might get out a couple of times during that week. So each week, I try and go somewhere different. I try and keep all landowners happy and fulfil my pest control duties. Favourite ones, I do like the ones out Derbyshire now. It's just the scenery, you know, middle of nowhere, on your own. It just feels like you've got all world to yourself for a few hours, and it's beautiful. But every one of my perms have something special and magical about them, and different quarry as well, which I like that variation. So I love them all, to be fair. But yeah, it's good. Been nice talking, no more Pontypool Pest Control. Have a good night, mate, and thanks for coming in. I'll chat with you soon. Shane Evans, thanks for the live chat. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Just let me know in the comments section. If I have missed any comments or anything like that, then just drop me another comment, and if I've missed any questions, I'll answer them best I can for you. Yep, see you later, Casper. Thanks for coming in, mate. See you later, Gary. Monk Chip, what's your job, Lee? I work in security industry, mate. I'm not going to say too much about it. It's nothing spectacular, but I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, I'm in the security industry. See you later, Buff. Thanks for joining me, mate. It's a pleasure as always. Good night, Brian. Steve Kirk. You're welcome, mate, and keep safe, and I'll catch up with you soon. Nice one, Nigel. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining in. And Paul. And we'll call time near. Like I say, if I've missed anything, let me know. Drop a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again.